Hey dudes, today I want to show you a subjective mixing technique that gives you a kind of in the head or underwater, reverberant, muffled kind of feeling by automating reverb and EQ. So let's jump right into it. All right, let's start from the top and add a EQ. I'm going to act like this is just a standard EQ that I might have on a dialogue track with my 110K rule. What's going to be important for this is we are going to do a low pass filter. So make sure that in some way, shape, or form you have engaged or hit this little in of the low pass filter. And that will at least get the EQ set up enough for what we're going to do. Let's shift Command N and bring up a stereo aux track called DX Verb, and then go up to Setup IO. Let's go to our bus menu, create a new path. This will be stereo because our aux is stereo and we are going to be mixing this project in stereo, but you can decide what it needs to be. And go DX Verb. I have other videos on routing and reverb if you want to take a little bit more time with this, but if you're just following along, all we need to do is change the input of DX Verb to BDX Verb, goes to the output, and then we just need DX1 to send via a bus to DX Verb, and there you go, bada boom, we're set up. The next thing that we're going to want to do is make sure that this particular dialogue track that we are going to be working in is in touch mode or some kind of automation mode, but there we go. I like touch mode, and I'm going to basically just kind of like make this section here get more and more muffled and more reverbed, and then why not? Let's hit enter and make a little marker here or memory location to say back to life. And we'll do a little 2 sign in the middle because that's cool. So we're going to have our EQ and reverb increase over time here, and then everything's going to go back to sort of normal or our back to life note there. So let's just keep this nice and easy for now, and I'll just do EQ right now since it's open. So just click the insert, hit play, it's in touch mode, and then I'm going to click and drag this. So in fact, I will show you what I am doing by going like this. Play, click. Sometimes I find myself getting very lost in my own thoughts. And the deeper I go, the more abstract things get. Let go. Oh, sorry, man. I will snap back to life. Okay, so we got part 1 of it, the kind of EQ muffle that we want to achieve over time where it's getting more and more muffled. That wasn't too bad. You can always check your work by clicking here to show your automation lane, clicking here to go down to your EQ 7 band, and there you go. There is my low pass frequency. And you'll see that this is the move I created. You'll also notice that this did turn yellow because I already did this automation. So ProTools will always make something yellow if you've already done something. And that's kind of nice. Maybe you want to just do your first pass so that it automatically turns yellow and it's easy to find. But there you go. One way or another, we have done the first part of the effect. All good. All right, so now all we need to do is actually add a reverb to the reverb aux. So right now, if I just did this effect, so I'll put it back into touch so I don't really want to actually write any of this information. But if I increase this, I find myself getting very lost in my own thoughts. You notice there's no reverb at all happening. You saw it going to the meter here on the DX Verb, but basically all we need to do to correct this is add whatever kind of reverb we want. So I'm going to just suggest one here, which is Revibe. We'll do the stereo version of it because this is a stereo aux. And one that I think is really cool is Film in Post Atlantis Library. It's just a really big, fun, kind of subjective sounding reverb. Once that is set here now, we don't need to necessarily keep this open. You could if you wanted to, but I'm going to do a similar move to what we did before. And you know, why not? I'll turn the keyboard on and also show you if I hit this plus sign, and we will open this automation lane now, not volume, but here is our send to reverb level. And we can kind of watch this in real time and see what I'm doing. So all we're going to do is put this back into touch mode because otherwise it will not memorize any automation that I'm doing. And I'm going to follow a pretty similar pattern to what I did before. So I'm going to hit play. Sometimes I find myself getting very lost in my own thoughts. And the deeper I go, the more abstract things get. Oh, sorry, man. I was kind of zoning out there for a minute, but yeah, what's up, dude? Let go. Oh, sorry, man. I was kind of zoning out there for a minute, but yeah, what's up, dude? Cool. So it goes back to normal. I may regret this later, but I'm going to show you this little technique here. What I've decided is I don't want this to start at 0 reverb. I want a little bit of reverb to begin. So I'm going to hold Control, and you see it has brought up a pencil. And I'm just going to click and redraw over some of this so that it starts out with a little bit of reverb. You can see how this can be dangerous because you could just go whoop and draw everything across the whole rest of the track. So please be careful with that. So I will, in fact, often do this in touch mode like I did at first, and then open up the automation lanes to clean stuff up. And that pencil tool, if you're careful, can be very fun and help you clean up things very quickly. Sometimes I find myself getting very lost in my own thoughts. And the deeper I go, the more abstract things get. Oh, sorry, man. I was kind of zoning out there for a minute. So there you go. All right, I'll just show one more thing here real quick. So I'm using the selector tool to highlight all the areas where I had automation, hitting delete to delete that automation. And then I'll just show you another way you might use this. So let's say I wanted to increase the low pass filter to somewhere around there. You see how I have a selection there? If I hit colon or P, it will go up and down with that exact selection. And what I can do is create, let's say, like the exact length of a scene with a particular amount of EQ and reverb. And now you'll see that those exact moments for the entire time are exactly even. So if we play it again, sometimes I find myself getting very lost in my own thoughts. So you'll see there that nothing changed over time. It was just one particular move, but it is a little technique that I wanted to show you, that if you make a selection and then you use the P or the semicolon, you could do like a whole scene. Maybe your whole scene is a dream sequence. The first example was maybe over time you're getting more and more wrapped up in your thoughts in your head or something like that. All right, that's it. We created a really cool effect by only changing the low pass filter and the amount of reverb that we sent to our voice. This can be a really handy tool for subjective moments during your movie. So maybe you have a dream or a flashback, or a character is kind of in their head, or we're hearing their inner thoughts or something like that. This is a great tool to do this. And there's two different methods here, where you can do it across the whole scene, or you can kind of increase or decrease it over time. Hopefully this is something you get to use in all your upcoming projects. And until next time, later dudes.